I don't know about you, but I'm really starting to miss romaine lettuce. I mean, look at the store shelves. They're just completely empty still.
Okay, so the issue is, why are we having all of these issues? And there's a bunch of Facebook posts going around, one of which is that former President Barack Obama had a plan to protect and stop all of the recalls.
But there's a claim that President Donald Trump actually made a move to reverse that plan, putting you at risk.
All right, so before you jump to any kind of conclusions, let's take a look at what Jason Puckett found when he verified what's fact and what's fiction.
The FDA still hasn't tracked down the source of that E. coli outbreak in romaine lettuce. Fast facts, 43 cases in 12 states, 16 hospitalizations, but so far, no deaths. It's a particularly nasty strain, and that's part of the reason that this tweet from Dr. Eugene Gu, a surgeon with 250,000 Twitter followers, took off, saying the outbreak is, quote, all because Trump overturned Obama-era rules to test our farm water. Let's verify. Is that claim true? Our sources, FDA documents, the Food Safety Modernization Act, and the CDC. In 2016, under President Obama, the Food Safety Modernization Act took effect. It's a multi-billion-dollar effort to make our food safer to eat. Part of that bill required farms to test for E. coli in agricultural water, or the water used to make plants grow. That wasn't done before. In September 2017, FDA Commissioner Scott Gottlieb said farmers asked for a delay because the standards were, quote, too complicated and too costly for the time frame. So the FDA made a proposal to move required testing to 2022 or 2024, depending on a farm's size. Right now, the delay isn't official, but the FDA isn't enforcing the testing requirement either. The regulations haven't been repealed, removed, or overturned as this tweet claims. They're just not being enforced while the FDA decides whether to delay that testing requirement. We can verify Dr. Eugene Gu's claim is false. The FDA linked another E. coli outbreak earlier this year to tainted farm water, but they haven't identified the source of this latest outbreak. With your Verify, I'm Jason Puckett.